the lead, not due to a counter-attack, but due to a set piece. But as the half-time whistle goes, it is City who have the advantage. A Riyad Mahrez penalty in the 43rd minute. Jefferson with a foul on Bernardo Silva. Mahrez tucking it in to the back of the goal for his third FA Cup goal, his 13th of the season in all competitions. And so at half-time in this FA Cup semi-final at Wembley Stadium, so far so good for the Blues. They lead by a goal to nil. Well, let's go back to the studio and we can hear from Natalie.
Welcome back to Matchday Live as Manchester City lead Sheffield United 1-0 at half-time in the FA Cup semi-final. I'm still joined in the studio by Gareth Taylor, Steve Howey and Paddy Kenny. So, Steve, what do you make of the first 45 minutes?
I think obviously possession-wise, Man City have dominated, hadn't really created a great deal, let's be honest. I mean, the penalty's a penalty. I don't think anybody can argue with that, but it could have been completely different if the lad took his chance really early on in the game. It is difficult for Man City to kind of break them down because there is like a bank of 5 and then a 4. And then obviously you've got the goalkeeper, but it's difficult for Sheffield United because the longer the game goes on, it's hard to keep your concentration and to be back in shape all the time. Eventually you will sort of just switch off and then get caught on that little through ball. But Pep will be pretty pleased, but he'd want a little bit, I think he'd want a little bit more, i.e. with more chances created.
What did you make of Sheffield United in that first half, Paddy?
Yeah, I think the game plans worked for them. They'll be disappointed, obviously, going in at half-time 1 down under the circumstances. But yeah, I think they had a nice early chance, which possibly could have done better and could have been a totally different scoreline. But yeah, they'll be pleased how it's gone, but it's going to be difficult because, like I said, now they might have to come out at some point, and that's going to create space for Man City then further down the line.
Yeah, it was a very early chance there, coming in the first couple of minutes of the game, Gareth. A great chance for Sheffield United, and perhaps even they should have done better with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good chance, and when you look at it again, you know, he's put it straight into Stefan's body. Probably had more time than he thought, but it was, you know, what a start to the game that would have been for Sheffield. But they've done quite well. They'll be just really disappointed with that. They were quite composed in their defending. They were quite calm in everything they did. And then it was a bit of a rush of blood for the lad coming back, striker again, coming back to defend in the box, and a bit of a wild slash at it, and very good penalty from Riyad. And hopefully now, you know, it should make for a little bit more of an entertaining game. City will continue to dominate, hopefully create some more chances, because the longer the game goes on at this period, Sheffield will have to come out because it's a one-off game, and that's where City probably will be able to exploit the spaces.
Yeah, of course, as Gareth mentions there, Steve, City's goal in that half came from the penalty spot. First of all, in terms of the penalty, I don't think anyone's got any complaints about that. I mean, Bernardo Silva was just taken down.
Yeah, I mean, I still said it's a typical kind of forwards challenge if you want. Bernardo initially tries to hit the ball on the volley, misses it completely, and actually is just bouncing, just takes the touch, and the boy takes him out. The referee's on the spot, he's looking right at it. He's got no other decision but to point to the spot. I know it went to VAR, but even then, you know, it's a clear and obvious decision for the referee. We were just talking that we were a little bit surprised about Erling not taking the penalty. Is that because of what happened midweek, or is it Mahrez as the penalty taker? So I'm a little bit puzzled. But having said that, what a penalty it was, right in the side net, and no goalkeeper's getting that one.
No.
Yeah, tell us about that from a goalkeeping point of view, Paddy. I mean, how good was that penalty?
Yeah, it's a really good penalty. Obviously, when they hit it with so much pace, going away from you into the side net, and you're always struggling, even if you go the right way. And yeah, really, really good penalty.
Riyad Mahrez was the club's designated penalty taker, Gareth. I forget the conversations earlier in the season, but I guess as a City fan, I was just presuming that Erling Haaland would take it. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Erling take it, but I quite like it actually, because I think they have 3 or 4 designated penalty takers, and I think if you miss, and we do the same in our team, if you miss, you go to the bottom of that pile and you've got to work your way up again. So, yeah, I think it's good in some respects. There's no arguments. It's very clear. It's a clear process. Erling knows he's got to wait his chance now. So I think when you have the quality that they have in a pressure penalty situation like that, I think going in off the post with pace like Riyad did was top class.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal. I took all my words back saying, why is Erling not taking it? Because it was a phenomenal penalty. In terms of tactically for City, 6 changes we mentioned before the game started, Steve. How do you think those changes have affected City in the way that we play?
I don't think a great deal. I think we all knew that City would have a lot of possession. And it was a case of just picking that right moment to be able to break them down. And we knew that they were going to be difficult to break down. I think even if the manager had picked a full-strength team, I still think they'd have the same difficulties. Of course, you've got somebody like De Bruyne, who we know he's an unbelievable locksmith. He is the one that can put them balls through. But it is difficult when you've got your goalkeeper, a bank of 5 and a bank of 4, and then possibly even one of the centre forwards just dropping in there as well. Make it so difficult. But I don't think the manager would be too disappointed with the lads that's come in. I don't think they've done anything wrong. I think it is just a case of, keep getting at them. And as Paddy said, they're going to have to come out the second half. They have to, because they're getting beat 1-0, and that could just open it up a little bit more.
Are you expecting any changes from Sheffield United at half-time, either in the players or in the way that they're playing?
No, I don't think so. I think the plan, apart from the penalty later on, has worked up to now. They've made it, like was touched on, really difficult for City. When it actually is like that, it becomes quite boring because they're trying to find that right pass and break so many players down. So I think that was their game plan. And I think they'll stick with it for now and maybe make some changes further down the line.
How about with City, Gareth? Are you expecting any change in the second half? Do we need a few goals, comfort maybe to take some players off?
I think maybe the longer the game goes on, you might see, especially if Sheffield tire, you might see some fresh legs come onto the pitch, players who are able to unlock. But yeah, it'd be interesting because I think, we were talking about it in the first half. When a team plays in a back 5, the 2 players in that back line you want to try and pull out of their position is the ones either side of the central one, Egan. So I think if Alvarez and Bernardo can do that a little bit more, when you drag those players out, you've then got to have players like wingers or fullbacks inside, or Erling making those runs into the space. Because before you know it, they come out 10 yards and they go back in, and then all of a sudden the moment's gone. And it is very hard to play against a back 5.
Absolutely, thank you. We've had loads of WhatsApp questions coming in. Always appreciate you sending them in. Thank you so much for sending. I love the variety that we get as well. We've got a few that I'm just going to quickly ask, because a few have come in for you, Paddy. So let's have a look. Oh, a nice easy one to start with. Lee Davies just wants to know. Oh, first of all, he says, well played to Paddy for coming on the show. Well played, Paddy. Who was his worst striker that you faced?
Worst as in? The worst.
It's a difficult one, that, yeah.
The most difficult.
Yeah.
Answer both. No, the most difficult.
I don't know. You played... When you mean difficult, do you mean like in...
Yeah, the best. Yeah.
There's been a few. You've got to look at Henry, Rooney, all players like that. Taylor. Yeah, there's been a few. Oh, yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah, so yeah, there's been quite a few.
Thank you very much, Lee. Williams asked, and I imagine this is a question you get asked a lot, so I imagine you have a bank of an answer for this. But he says, what thoughts were running through your mind when Dzeko scored the equaliser? Were you thinking that there was a chance that he could win it, or were you too busy focusing on your job on the pitch?
I always tell this one, because when they scored, just before he got the corner for the second goal, our fans were going mental at the other end of the stadium. And we needed Bolton not to win at Stoke to stay up, no matter what score our game was. So you had it in your head, something's gone off, obviously, in the other game. And then when you scored off the corner, our bench was shouting on, they've drawn 2-all, so we knew we were safe. So it was quite, we knew we were safe, but obviously we didn't realise how important it was that you needed that other goal.
I always wondered if you could hear or reflect on what fans were doing, but in this instance, you absolutely could see your own fans. Yeah,
well, I could hear them. Just obviously they're all singing, and that's obviously you take it and think, oh well, something's gone off in the other game. Obviously, it had finished 2-all, which meant we were safe no matter what. So.
But after that, obviously, you still played to the absolute best of your ability, and we won't have Man United fans saying anything else.
Definitely, it's one of them as a player. You don't want other people celebrating around you. You want to, like, I remember once playing against Watford for Leeds, and Watford could have gone up that day, And we said we had nothing to play for, and we said before the game, they ain't celebrating today. It was probably the best we played all season.
I'm so here for that pettiness, by the way. I'm so here for that. We've had a couple more questions. Brian has just messaged in. Thanks, Brian, asking, do you think Rico will make it on the pitch in the second half?
It depends. I think, we've seen that he's more than capable of doing that job in alongside. It used to be obviously Rodri quite a bit when he did it earlier in the season. And to answer the question that we were asking before the game about Gomez, he has played inside alongside Gundogan. And he's done it, like Steve said. I think he'd been pretty comfortable with the changes that have been made from Ortega all the way through the pitch. It would just depend on Pep, really. He's not big on making changes. I think I've noticed that in his teams, that he wants to keep the same players out there because they're out there and they're feeling the rhythm. And the last thing you want to do is bring a cold player into that environment. But I think if he feels the need that, particularly if it's a possession-based game, then who's going to fit that bill really well?
Of course, Rico Lewis was our former under-18s captain as well, and we had some fantastic news for the club today as the under-18s side won their third consecutive Premier League's under-18 North title. They beat second place Sunderland 4-2 here at the City Football Academy. The first goal coming from captain Nico O'Reilly, who's just been in incredible form this season. We're just seeing the goal there as well, headed goal from him there. Of course, City score 4. Here's the replay of the goal. This is Nico again. OK, the fourth goal, an incredible one as well from Joel Undala. I mean, sensational. Wait till you see that just in a second. You can watch the full match replay on City Plus. Now, Ben Wilkinson's side will be presented with the trophy after their game at Derby next weekend, and we'll also be showing you that live on City Plus and Recast. Right, have a look at this fourth goal. This is Joel Undala. Paddy, I want to know what would you have done? Would you have saved it? Could you have saved it? Because it is a heck of a strike.
Oh, it's a great goal, isn't it? I think your only thing there, you try not let him come inside for the shot. That's all you can try to do.
Blame the defender, isn't he? If in doubt, blame the defender. I'd be turning around going, any danger keeper or what?
I'd be like, don't show him inside on his right foot.
If in doubt, he'd be pointing the finger. Goalkeepers are murder, honestly. It's never their fault.
Incredible victory for the under-18s, Gareth. I'm sure you see them a lot around. Ben Wilkinson as well. They'll be thrilled with that 3 in a row. Yeah,
brilliant for the academy, brilliant for the under-18s. I think you may have done them a disservice. I think that's the 4th consecutive one.
Oh, is it?
I was in the first one. That was the team that I took. So I'm sure it's 4. 4th consecutive North victory that is for the under-18. So yeah, fantastic. And like you said earlier about the likes of the players who've come through, Cole Palmer, McAtee, Tommy Doyle, and Rico more recently. I think there's some really talented players in there.
And of course, the Premier League 2 as well. The under-21s are really close to winning that as well. I mean, the academy's just thriving at the minute.
Yeah, Brian's doing a brilliant job at under-23 level. I think he's created a really good environment there of obviously good young players who've stepped up from under-18s to the next part, have really good interaction with the first team and Pep, so that they feel close to it. So yeah, I think they've done really well this season.
Yeah. So congratulations again to the under-18s. We watched the full match replay on City Plus and Recast. Right, we are just a few minutes away from the second half in the FA Cup semi-final. Steve, what sort of second half are you hoping for or indeed expecting?
I think it'll be more or less the same. As I said, I think we all agree, Sheffield United have to come out, because obviously if they don't come out and sit back like they have done, they're going out with a whimper, really. And we've mentioned it, I think Till's mentioned it early doors. You don't want to come off the pitch thinking we didn't give it a go. So I think they've got to come out and they've got to express themselves, but that obviously leaves room for Man City. But I can see another couple of goals actually in the second half.
For City, thank you for saying that there. For City. Are you sticking with your prediction before, Paddy, or I'll let you change it should you wish?
No, I'm going to stick with it. I could, like Steve just said, I think it'll be a lot of the same, and eventually, if they come out, there's going to be more chances that'll come.
OK, are you sticking with your
prediction? Yeah, I'm going to stick with mine. I think Sheffield had their chance in the first minute to get that one, but I think certainly City are capable of getting the 3.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Gareth Taylor, Steve Howey and Paddy Kenny. We will be back here at full time, where hopefully we will be talking about City reaching an FA Cup final again. The teams are heading back out onto the Wembley pitch, so get yourselves onto the Manchester City app if you're not there already for your second half commentary from Alistair Mann and Michael Brown, and join us again in 45 minutes.
Welcome back to Wembley Stadium, where Sheffield United have got to do something that no other team has done so far in this season's FA Cup, and that is score against the Blues. 405 minutes of FA Cup football. They've yet to be breached, the Blues.